how good is Super Creek for the Sagittarius Cup? Let's talk about it. Now, Super Creek has some advantages and disadvantages for her for the Sagittarius Cup. Now, she faces all of the same difficulties that other pace chasers are facing in the Sagittarius Cup. She does not have a lot of accelerations going for her. Now, there are some ways to make it work, and we'll talk about that, but let's break her down first. Now, her stack growths are meh. You know, it's 10% stamina, 20% wit. So it's good for wit, but her stamina does leave something to be desired. Now, the good news is you don't need that much stamina because her ult is so good that you can go almost as low as 700 stamina, which, you know, it's up for debate if you actually want to do that or not, because the difficulty with pace chasers in this CM are there's probably going to be a lot of end closers. So if Super Creek somehow becomes first place, her ult is not going to work. So you're going to need to either run other pace chasers or you're going to need to run some front runners for her to actually activate her ult on time. So with those stat lines in mind and those growths, you can have a little bit more flexibility with what sparks you want to bring. Now, I would suggest a mix of stamina and power sparks. It doesn't have to be this intense, but you can always borrow, you know, a high power or high stam. And then you should be all right, because if her ult procs, then you don't need that much stamina. Now, for Dex, you do have some flexibility and some limitations. Now, she has 0% speed growth, so you're going to need 3 speed cards. Now, those 3 speed cards can look a little bit different. Now, if you are struggling with speed cards, you can always bring a speed card with an extra speed bonus, such as Naruto Brian or Shinko Windy. And those are good cards, especially Naruto Brian, because she gives long skills, which are pretty necessary for the CM. But then the other debate is, should you bring a wit card? Should you bring another stam card, or should you bring a power card? Now, that is up for you and your play style. I'm not going to tell you which one is best, because there is no best. Now, if you're bringing all stam sparks, you can get away with 2 wit and just blow up the blues on power, or you can bring a power card and a wit card. Now, the difficulty with bringing a stam card or power card is your energy management. So you need to be good with energy management, and you still try to get around 600 wit. Now, I know that seems like a lot sometimes, but that's the goal, right? That's not something that you need, but that is a goal that you want to, you know, strive for. Now, I did a small run with Super Creek, and it was my first run just to test her out. And this is what I got. It was okay, the run, nothing special, not a high roll by any means, but it did prove to be pretty effective in testing. And the way that you really want to make her work as a pace chaser is you're going to need a little bit of luck in a few things. Now, the skills that everybody is going to want, but especially pace chasers, is corners and straight skills. That could be straightaway adept, that could be long straights, that could be pace chaser straights, but you're going to want those because there are long stretches, especially before the acceleration zone, that is just a straight, and you really want to try to separate yourself from the back of the pack as much as possible. Because if you don't separate yourself from the back of the pack as much as possible, Gold Ship is just gonna kick you over, and that's the reality. Now, what you inherit is angling and scheming, and even Daiwa Scarlet's ult is pretty good. You can also inherit Brian's ult, and it's pretty good, but you're going to need to overtake somebody, and probably by that last corner as a pace chaser, you're either going to be in the front of the pack or losing. Now, you still want No Stopping Me and Head On if you can get it, because you're going to want to try to get No Stopping Me procking off either of your own front runner or another pace chaser that you're running, but that is going to be the best chance and gamble to win. But pace chasers are not having a good time this CM, but you can make it work. But you do need to get a little bit tricky with it. So that's all I found with building Super Creek. She is good because you can get greedy with other stats, but pace chasers are just having a tough time this time. So if you want to see someone else, comment below. Let me know what you think. But overall, always build your favorite rather than chasing the meta.